Welcome to the Stop Down Photography Podcast, Episode 8. I'm your host, Scott Davenport, and today's topic is photography is to savor, not to conquer. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me today, spending a few minutes of your day with me. So this concept, this topic of the conquering photographer or the savoring photographer, I think this will speak to many of you. If you're like me, you started making photographs just because you truly enjoy making art with your cameras. And I think maybe there is going to be some exception to what I'll talk about today if you are maybe a photojournalist where you have a specific assignment and you must get certain photos in order to deliver that assignment. That's not the area of photography I'm kind of talking about with this concept. This is more for what I think many of us, maybe most of us, are doing is just being out in the world with our cameras and wanting to capture some of these memories. So if you like today's podcast, please tell a friend about it. I can see the audience is growing, and that is wonderful. I'd like to see that continue. So let me start this topic with maybe a little differently, with a little short story about a Winnie the Pooh cartoon. Now, I can't say I ever really connected with the Pooh Bear like other people have, but there's this one comic where Winnie and his buddy Piglet, it just resonates with me. It goes like this. So Winnie and Piglet are walking through the woods. There's a nice little path, and it's a generally nice day, a small amount of text in the picture, and they're just walking into the scene. So their backs are toward us, the viewer, and Pooh asks, "What day is it?" And Piglet squeaks out, "It's today." And Pooh replies, "My favorite day." And that little brief exchange is like a philosophy that I try to bring into my photography, and when I'm lucky, into my life as well, where Winnie the Pooh is just happy to be alive and outside and enjoying the day. And that's part of the landscape photography for me. Part of being a landscape photographer is just like being outside and experiencing things. Now, when I head out with my camera, of course, I want to capture great photos. It's why I'm a photographer, but there's more to it. The experience matters to me as well, and the experience is more than just peering through a lens. In fact, my pursuit of landscape photography has actually led me to more experiences than I ever thought it would. Now, some of those are right in my own backyard, my hometown of San Diego. I want to find new subjects, new locations to photograph, and I found all sorts of places just right within my city that I probably wouldn't have found otherwise. I've met interesting people. Sometimes that's just a shared moment. Sometimes it becomes a lasting friendship. Other experiences are literally half a world away. One that jumps to mind is in Kushimoto, Japan. I went to this spot to photograph a particularly interesting rock formation in this town. It's well outside the cities. It's a very different side of Japan than Tokyo and Kyoto, and I'd never seen that side of Japan before. I got some wonderful photos, but the surrounding experience was equally thrilling. After capturing my photos of this about kilometer worth of rock bridge that kind of peppers its way out into a body of water, I had a fantastic bowl of ramen right across the street from the rocks I just photographed. It was run by, I think it was at this stage now, the grandfather who had opened the shop. He was still working there, making the ramen. Quiet little place, fantastic food. Just the generations worth of people that ran it. No real communication was exchanged because I don't speak Japanese very well at all. They did not speak English. Yet everything about it was pleasant, and the fact that I could sit and enjoy this great food right across from the subject I just spent time photographing, it just makes the experience doubly good. And then the surround of that as well, heading back to the onsen resort where I was staying. I have these hot springs right inside the hotel. I had to drive a car on the left-hand side of the road, constantly battling with the kanji-only GPS system. So there's a lot of frustrations, yet experiences where I look back and it was, it was fun. It was an adventure. And it was a lot more than just the camera work. Photography was the catalyst to get me to this place. But the experience was more than just the photos. I've got the memories and I've got the photographs. I try to be Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the photographer, being out and just knowing that today is going to be a good day. I'm going to enjoy today. And the enjoyment will be some camera, something other than the camera. Just the whole package can come together. Savor the experience. Some of that's through the lens, some of that's putting the camera down and just experiencing the world. Now, there's another kind of photographer, the more run and gun type. Maybe you've encountered them. Maybe you've been that photographer. I know I've been that photographer on occasion where all I'm interested in is get photo, get photo, get photo, move, 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 next location, next location. And those whirlwind trips, I might come back with some good photos, but I don't remember much about the trip other than the photos I captured. So let me call this photographer Genghis. Genghis is a conqueror. Genghis storms into a place, the camera shutters blazing, tripod legs swinging, set up, compose, shoot, set up, compose, shoot, go, 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 constantly capturing photos, but not stopping for a moment just to absorb the place that you're in and take in more than just what's been captured in the lens. An example of a Genghis encounter I had is one of my first visits to Bandon Beach in Oregon. I'm walking along the beach, I'm taking it all in, enjoying the sea stacks, the sand is whipping along the flat packed beach, getting ready for sunset. The weather was fair, temperatures were cool but not cold, no rain, and about 10 minutes or so before the sunset, a small group of photographers came bounding down the stairs and started scurrying all over the beach. They're all capturing their own frames. I'm pretty sure it was a workshop, but that doesn't really matter. But I don't remember seeing any of them raising their eyes from their viewfinders except to dash and sometimes sprint to their next photo. Now, unless they were super pro and knew exactly what they wanted, there was little time for composition. There was little time for scoping and scouting and getting a feel for a place. All right, benefit of the doubt. Maybe they were running late. Maybe they're trying to catch the sunset before it faded or just maximize the number of frames they could get. But here's where that kind of falls apart for me. As soon as the sun dipped and went below the horizon, as quickly as they had arrived, that group was gone again. Running back up the stairs, gone. It wasn't raining, it wasn't cold, it wasn't windy, and there was still some great twilight going on. Nice blue hours, still some purples up in the sky. But they just up and left. I had my photos. The sun had gone down. I captured a couple at twilight. But then I just hung around on the beach and just watched the light fade. The stars came out. They got the lull of the ocean, the salt in the air. I had an experience on the beach, and the gaggle of Genghises, is it Genghis? But anyway, the bunch of conquerors who came to Bandon, maybe they got some photos, maybe they didn't. I don't think they had an experience there. They just you weren't in the place long enough to have the feel for it. Here's another experience with Genghis that you might recognize or have had yourself. Any place where it's a tourist attraction. My most recent was in Iceland. You've seen photos of Iceland. Amazing waterfalls, glaciers, black sand beaches, lots of photographers, lots of Genghis sightings, rushing from angle to angle, snapping away, and never stopping just to look and just take in the raw, rugged, beautiful landscape that is Iceland. Where it stood out for me most prominently actually was in the city of Reykjavik. There is a sculpture, the Sun Voyager, that's along the harbor front, and it's this stainless steel sculpture. It's on granite. It's one of the popular things to go and visit and see and take in. And group after group of people were positioning for their photo in front of it. Now that I do not mind at all. Get the memory. Take the photos to bank the memory. I talked about that in episode 2 of this podcast, where you make art and make memories. But after getting their photo in front of the sculpture, few to none of these people spent any time actually looking at it. Did you go up and read the plaque? Did you notice that it's stainless steel and it's on a granite slab? The concept of the sculpture is a dreamboat or an ode to the sun, and it's intended to convey the undiscovered territory or progress or freedom. And you would think that it would orient toward the west, toward the setting sun. The sun setting on some undiscovered area. Wouldn't it be great to go discover that? And it doesn't actually face to the west. And this is just a small taste of something that becomes an experience beyond just the photo. So I guess in the end here, I try to be more like Winnie the photographer as opposed to Genghis the photographer. Sometimes the photos will work out. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes the camera may never come out of the bag. But if you have this open-mindedness to savor photography and the experience that surrounds it, I think you'll always come away with a win. When I think about this conquering concept of photography, invariably social media comes up. The Instagram culture that we're in, where there is a beautiful location, it becomes popular in Instagram or another social media outlet, and then it becomes inundated with other people wanting to see this beautiful place. And I'm conflicted about this. I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts are about the notion of, is social media, a good thing or a bad thing? Can we discover new places, but certain spots become overrun or end up getting closed down because of it? I know in late December, Antelope Canyon, these slot canyons in Arizona, they're no longer doing photography-specific tours just because it was getting too crowded. And more recently, there's a small town in Austria, I believe it is, Hallstatt, where it was some of the inspiration for the castle layout and artistry in the movie Frozen, and that's become a popular photo opportunity through social media. And this is a town of maybe 800 people, and they're getting 1 million visitors a year now. That's way out of proportion. That would be, I'm at home, I have a family of 4, but over the course of the week, I'm taking a few hundred visitors, just to come see my house. It's the scale of that is amazing. So, it makes me think about, what should be done with tagging photos with location data. Earlier, I would include GPS markers in my photos. I still tag my photos, but when I export them and I share them, I'm actually stripping that information out. Because not that I wouldn't share the information with a group of photographers I'm speaking to, but I am sensitive to this notion that the conquering photographers can overrun a place and make it that it's not like just ruining it for other photographers, but for everybody. We want to be able to visit nice places and see beautiful things. And that part of it's all good. But to do so only to swoop in, conquer, get a particular photo, and leave, less so. I'd really like to hear your thoughts about it. You can leave a comment on this episode at stopdownpodcast.com or send me a message through the contact form there if you want to keep it private. A big thank you to the supporters on Patreon. I cannot tell you enough how much I appreciate the support. It is what makes this podcast possible, and it helps thousands of others enjoy their photography. If you're interested in joining the Patreon community, check the show notes. There's a link there, and there's also a button on every page of stopdownpodcast.com where you can learn more about it. And that's going to wrap up this week's episode. I hope that you'll savor your next photo outing. Get your photos, but also get an experience too. That's definitely the way I like to go with my outings now. Carve out time for camera work and carve out time to just be in the location and be a part of it, even if it's just for a few minutes. I've got another topic I'm working on for next week. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please tell a friend. You can rate and review it on Apple Podcasts, and you can find episodes at stopdownpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, my name is Scott Davenport. Have fun.